Welcome to Chris's Storytelling Corner. My name is Christopher Moldong and I am an author. Today I will do manga reviews for the final volumes of Negima, volumes 36 to 38. So, now for the next series. I don't want to quite leave the Negima universe quite yet. So, I'll do manga reviews for its sequel, UQ Holder, starting with volumes 1 to 3. It's not completed yet in the US, but I will go through as many of them that are in the US as I can. And then, you know, we'll work from there. I think they're up to volume 9. Volume 10 comes out in March. Um, Maybe I'll just do like one volume at a time as they come out or something like that. So, here is the synopsis for UQ Holder. Set in the same universe of Negima, but over 70 years later, it follows the adventures of a young boy, Tota Kanoe, who is transformed into a vampire and joins a secret society composed of immortal beings. Also, check out my reading of The Orthodox Clash, pages 8 to 10, 8 to 10. Next week, we'll finish it up with pages 11 to 16. You can check out my author's website at www.chrismoldon.com. You can buy my first novel, a fantasy adventure called The Mustard Prince in the Condiment Kingdom for $4.99. Also, for $2.99, you can buy my short story collection, a collection of 10 short stories in the horror, fantasy, and realistic fiction genres. Check out my Twitter page and please follow me on Twitter and retweet my stuff on Twitter, and check out my author's Facebook page. Links to all these will be provided on the description. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment to this channel if you're on YouTube, or follow, share, and comment on this channel if you're listening to this on SoundCloud. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher, please rate, review, and share this channel. So, this is how it works. I will have a pretty detailed review of each volume, 36, 37, 38. After I review a volume, I'll give my own personal thoughts on said volume. Also, they'll have massive spoilers. Also, volume 38 is actually going to be pretty long, too. So, just be warned. That one in particular is like really long. So, volume 36. The volume begins with Fate telling Negi to forget he said anything. Negi then tells him no, and that he wants him to hear it. Fate tells him there's no need, and Negi asks if that is because he's nothing more than a doll. Negi says that he can close the world off without him consulting anybody because everyone in the magical world are illusions. Fate agrees and says that it's the only way to save this meaningless world. Negi then asks why he saved Shiori and the other girls. Negi then mentions that he heard about another Fate from Shiori, and that's who he wants to talk to. He then extends his hand and asks if he'll be his friend. Fate grabs his hand and they use their biggest spells on each other from that range. In a flashback, the mage of the beginning is watching Ala Rubra through a telescope. Fate is with her and tells her about Nagi. Nagi is then shown defeating the mage of the beginning. Zect is then shown watching Fate's awakening. Zect tells him that it's been 8 years. From behind, Zect is shown wearing the robes of the mage of the beginning, kind of from far away, and you have to kind of look for it too. He is with Dynamis and another Avarunkus, Secundum, who Tertium calls Secundum Sama. Tertium will take orders from Secundum, or Fate will take orders from Secundum. We are then introduced to two more of the group, Ni, the second fire of Atir, and Septendisum, the 17th water Adad. They go to a town with the code of the Life Maker, and Secundum uses rewrite on the inhabitants. They talk about Nagi. Ni apparently has a vendetta against Rakon. Nagi fights against Secundum, and Nagi beats him easily. Let's see. And then afterwards, Ni and Septendisum join in the fight and put Nagi in a bad spot. Arika rescues Nagi. Arika has a book, and Nagi acknowledges the book as Alberio, and Alberio then helps him out. Tertium and his group get defeated by Nagi, Arika, and Alberio. Tertium flies away and thinks about things. His core goes haywire and he falls from the sky. And then he wakes up in a bed in a house in a small village. A woman and her scared sister, who is most likely Shiori, takes care of him. The woman serves Tertium coffee and he enjoys it. Tertium then flies away. The mage at the beginning explains to Tertium that he was not programmed with the same loyalty to him or sense of purpose. He flies back to the village and sees the woman lying on the ground bleeding. Secundum then uses the code of the Life Maker on her in front of Tertium. Secundum reveals that the village is full of mind readers and humans attack them. He then targets a woman's little sister, but Tertium cuts off his head and kills him. Back at Mahora Academy, a large explosion happens where Negi is fighting Fate. Lava then appears. Fate is seen on a rock on the lava with his hand sticking out. Nagi grabs it and punches him. Rock-On then grabs his hand and they punch each other. Negi, who appears to be bruised and battered, is then shown grabbing Fate's hand. Negi tells Fate that he needs his help and that they'll do it with their own power. At the end of the day, they'll save the world with their own power is what they mean. At the end, Fate says that he gives up and that Negi wins. So back with Setsuna, she still finds Tsukiyomi. Tsukiyomi gets the better of her. Setsuna gets her new artifact out, grabs Hina by the blade, and cuts Tsukiyomi down. Mana and Poyo are still fighting each other, with a gun to Poyo's head and Poyo's claws to Mana's body. Poyo says that she gives up. She says that Mana's side won. Poyo asks Mana to return to the demon world, but Mana says that she intends to see this through to the end. Fate says that they will never see eye to eye and scoffs at the idea of being friends. He also tells them that if he makes the slightest mistake, then he will reactivate Cosmo and Telekia. Fate tells Shirabe to disable the tree spirit barrier and release the Imperial Princess of Twilight. Negi tells Fate that it will take 10 years for his plan to work. They then shake hands. Both Negi and Fate get surprise attacked and knocked down. Negi sees the mage at the beginning in the distance. Secundum, Quartum, Quintum, Sextum, Dynamis, Septendisum, and another appear before them. They all attack Negi and Fate with spells. Kanoka and Shiori tell everyone that they need to rescue Asuna and awaken her powers. The first Fate, Primus, and Ni appear before them to stop them. Secundum uses a spell to put Fate and Negi down. He tries to use the code of the Life Maker to take them to Cosmo and Telekia. Evangeline comes out of a shadow on the ground, grabs his arm, and attacks him. Primus and Ni shoot needles at Shiori and Kanoka, but Aishun and the headmaster swat them away. Dynamis speaks with Evangeline, and Alberio appears behind him, taps his shoulder, and uses a spell on him. Alberio then summons Takamichi and Godel to help. Evangeline, the headmaster, Aishun, Alberio, Takamichi, and Godel stand together in front of Negi to fight the enemy. Suddenly, Jack Rock-On appears before Chisame. He tells her that he came back with half guts and the other half being Asuna's power. He then joins with Evangeline and her group. Rock-On fights against Secundum, who is using the code of the Life Maker. However, Rock-On keeps dodging its attacks. Evangeline tells her group to keep them busy and that she'll finish them in one spell. Rock-On punches Secundum in the face and sends him flying. Chisame tells someone that phony Fate, probably like Primus or Secundum, must have put even more powerful barriers over Asuna. She says that they'll need everyone's help to save her and that they all have to call out to her. During the same Evangeline is incanting the spell, and Chisame tells everyone that's with her, it's not the whole class 3A by the way, that her artifact is hooked up to the Great Grandmaster Key. She then tells everyone to hold hands, and they do. They try to reach Asuna, but they can't, because they don't have enough of the class there. Make, Asakura, Yua, and Kaede appear to help. Mana and Setsuna then appear as well. Back with the battle, Dynamis uses the code of the Life Maker to summon the ancient dragon, Brixo Nagashia. Zaize appears and teleports Ayaka, the twins, and Sakurako there, to where, like, Asuna is. Haruna, Satsuki, Hakase, and Chachimaru appear. Kakizaki Kugumiya, Chizuru, and the stone statues of Sayo and Yuna appear, and then Yuna and Sayo's petrification somehow gets removed. They all hold hands and call out to Asuna. Rock-On fights against the ancient dragon and punches it down. Evangeline casts her spell, Aperantos Lefkos Oranos, which summons a frozen ice tornado and unleashes a frozen lightning attack. Evangeline explains that her spell is an original and that it was invented against those who rely on magical barriers. The ice becomes vine-like and chases the enemy. So, the spell manages to freeze all the enemies and looks like she was targeting Rock-On as well, but he dodged it. The spell only apparently works on dolls. Evangeline tells Rock-On that the spell probably did not get the mage at the beginning. She tells him to take Negi and the others back to Mahora. Rock-On and Evangeline get caught in binding magic. Then the mage at the beginning appears and tells Evangeline that it was a magnificent spell. She also calls her my daughter. Godel, Aishin, Takamichi, Alberio, and the headmaster attack the mage at the beginning, but are unsuccessful. The mage then grabs Negi by the neck and holds him up. Asuna appears with the evil destroying sword and strikes the mage at the beginning. She then rescues Negi. The mage at the beginning casts a spell, but Asuna blocks it. Negi and Asuna hold the evil destroying sword and swing at the mage at the beginning. The mage then reveals his face from under the hood, and it turns out to be his father, Nagi. Nagi tells him, Negi, come kill me, then it will all be over. I'll be waiting. He then disappears. Asuna uses the Great Grandmaster Key to restore everything in the magical world back to normal. Class Rep from Ariadne reappears. Craig and the treasure hunters, Tosaka and the chief reappear. They have a celebration in the magical world with Negi, Kotaro, and all the students from Class 3A. They present Johnny with some of the girls present Johnny with a new ship. At the end of the volume, in a huge celebration, Godel presents to the magic world the hero that saved the world, Negi Springfield. So, some thoughts on volume 36. Olive Rubra, Evangeline the Headmaster versus Cosmo and Telekia was pretty awesome. It was just epic, just seeing all those powerful people come together, and it really had this like old school, like the old school heroes versus the same guys actually. Evangeline using that particular original spell was pretty ingenious and showed just how powerful she is. It's funny because, with like Evangeline, she has a spell in her back pocket, but in like say the Mahora Budokai, she didn't use it like these type of spells. So she was like a lot of these characters seem to have had stronger attacks or stronger items and didn't show them off. Even Rock-On when he fought against Negi and Kotaro. I mean, apparently he had this like armor that he never showed off. There's also something seeing the headmaster fighting, and he was right there with him. He seems to be just as powerful as those guys. The mage at the beginning is Nagi. That's a big surprise and twist. We don't know how it happened. But if you think about it, Negi has apparently found his father that he's been chasing since the beginning of the series. His father, though, tells his son to kill him. So, there's only 2 more volumes left, so we don't really know if that's going to get, resolved, or we'll see how things turn out with that. But it's there. We now know that Nagi is indeed alive and is apparently the mage at the beginning. Asuna played a huge role here. I would say that she's officially the strongest character of the series. She came in, helped Negi, and then fought against the mage at the beginning, who's like the strongest of them all. And, with her and Negi, they won, and she can do so much. She's like the daughter of the mage at the beginning, or the creator, or whoever anyways. We got to see Fate and Veronicus. He was going through some stuff. His backstory is pretty sad. We now know why he loves coffee so much. Um, but yeah, he's dealing with some issues of being a doll, yet being programmed like a human. He shows a lot more humanity than the other Avarunkas. Um, he seems to have cared for that woman who served him coffee. Um, was willing to hear Negi's plan. Seems to have fun fighting Negi. Seemed to have fun fighting against Rockon as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him moving forward. He also, his fight against Negi was pretty cool. The way it ended was satisfying, and it seems that fate is on his side for the time being too. It's also nice seeing Class 3A coming together to wake Asuna. Um, it's kind of funny how they were short on friendship at first. Misora pointed that out. So, on to volume 37. The volume begins with Natsumi in bed. Kotaro says that he's going to wake her and come in. Natsumi uses her artifact and gets mad at Kotaro. Ayaka and Chizuru tell them that they're not going to class today. Someone has a meeting with the headmaster and Shizuna sensei. All the paperwork is set, and the headmaster tells Shizuna to show this person to this person's class. So in class 3A, Negi and Asuna are absent. Fate Avarunkus comes into the classroom, and he is introduced by Shizuna Sensei as their new substitute child teacher. So, after class, Natsumi sees Yue and Makie walking together. They all sit together on a small hill. Makie declares that the next time that they see Negi Sensei, who has been really distant, Yue will declare her love for him. Nadoka, who is spying on them from some bushes behind them, says that she's all for it. Fate appears and tells them that he hopes that they will refrain from such actions. He tells them that Negi is currently working to save the other world. He finally tells them that Negi belongs to him and to give up on him. Negi flies in and asks everyone to join him for tea. Fate, though, diverts his attention to something else, and they don't have their tea. Chachamaru, we're back. Now we see Chachamaru. She's recharging herself while thinking of Negi Sensei. Evangeline suggests that Chachamaru becomes Negi's assistant. So, Negi and Asakura meet with Chachamaru as she feeds the cats. Chachamaru tells Negi that she wants to help. That is the path her heart chooses. Negi says it'll be hard work, but Chachamaru agrees to do it. So we're with Yue now. Yue is sitting alone in front of a coffee shop, thinking about confessing to Negi. She still does not have memories from when Negi came to Mahora, and from when Negi came to Mahora to when she fell in love with him. Yue's classmates from the magical world call her, starting with Colette. Then the class rep of Ariadne gets on the line and asks why Yue hasn't come to visit. Yue says that it's only been 3 weeks. Class rep explains that Nagi has been traveling the worlds. She tells Yue that if she won't come to them, they'll come to her. Colette gets online and she says that she'd love to see Japan. Yue says that she'd love to have her. So we see Chisame now. She's stressing over things. In class, she whispers things to Yuna, and Fate throws chalk at their heads and tells them to stand on the hall, holding buckets of water. So outside of that, and outside of class, she gets her sprites to find Negi. Negi runs into Chisame, who gives her a souvenir. Then he leaves. She is not happy with that and attacks him. They then sit at a table along with Chachamaru, and Chisame asks for an explanation. Class rep meets with them and says that she'd be happy to provide an explanation. She says that Negi's solution is space development. The ultimate goal is for both worlds to work together in the afforesting of the planet. A terraforming project that they call Blue Mars. In 30 years, if all goes well, Mars will be a lush green planet. Sakurako, Kugamiya, and Kakizaki, we're seeing them now. They're hanging out. They run into an older Fate, Negi and Kotaro, but don't know who they really are. They have some shenanigans at a karaoke bar. And the boys get asked out on dates. I think Kugamiya asked out Kotaro, Kakizaki, and Fate, and I think Sakurako and Negi, or something like that. I forgot. But anyways, The three boys become small again, and fate reprimands the girls for entering an amusement facility after 6 o'clock. Ayaka and Asuna sit together at a restaurant. So, changing scene, or it's like the next chapter. Ayaka thanks her for coming home safely with Negi. Older versions of Fate, Negi and Kataro meet with them. Ayaka tells them that they're going to meet the Prime Minister of Japan at his official residence. Ayaka then shows off her Pactio card. It has the power to get an audience with absolutely anyone. No appointment necessary. They then show when Ayaka and Negi made a Pactio card 3 weeks ago. With Ayaka's strong love for Negi, it was almost made in reverse, where Ayaka would get, or Negi would get the Pactio card. It's revealed that Ayaka's father will help as long as it's in the best interest of the nation. So, at their dorm, Shizuru reveals to Kataro that she made a Pactio card with Negi. So, we're up to the next chapter. Setsuna. Setsuna. She acts very formal with Asuna because she is royalty, and Asuna is annoyed by it. Setsuna catches Kanoka and Asuna studying magic books. She then talks to Mana about the future at the Tachimiya Shrine, while Kaede and Kufei train in the background. Mana tells Setsuna that there's a foster care center in Musashi Mahora and that she donates to it. Kufei's ultimate goal is Negibozu. Kaede wants for nothing. Setsuna asks Yue about her future and thinking that she's talking about her and Negi, Yue gets embarrassed and runs away. After getting things straight, Yue reveals that she's thinking about studying abroad in Ariadne. Setsuna then goes around asking about everyone's futures. She then freaks out about thinking about being partners with Kanoka. She's kind of like in the middle of like a plaza, really. Unbeknownst to her, though, Evangeline is watching her freak out. She then puts her in some professional wrestling holds. Evangeline asks her if they told her anything. She then hints at the price that Asuna has to pay, but doesn't tell her exactly what it is. Negi and Asuna come and meet with Evangeline. Evangeline tells the two to come with her, and that this will be their last training session. At Evangeline's resort, Evangeline fights against Negi as Asuna and Setsuna watch. Aishun and Alberio appear, and they just watch the fight, just as audience members. So Rockon then joins the audience to watch the fight. He says he's in an artificial body because magical citizens can't go to Earth. He also hints that Kokone, like Misora's friend, may also be like in an artificial body as well. They don't really say though. Godel and Takamichi join the audience to watch the fight. Evangeline cuts Negi's body and Setsuna notices that it heals instantly. Alberio says that Negi died in that battle, and Magia Rebria brought him back to life. He has been reborn as a monster, just like Evangeline. Negi has the unaging immortality of a vampire. They won't be certain if he won't age for a few years. Sin tells Setsuna that one thing she kind of regrets is that she couldn't stop him from crossing that line. Negi will most likely spend his whole life looking like a child. Asuna tells Setsuna to take care of Negi for her. She then jumps in to help Negi. Asuna blocks a strong ice attack from Evangeline that was aimed at Negi. Evangeline then surrounds the whole castle with ice. She manages to freeze the two in a giant block of ice, but they get out of it. Setsuna asks Alberio what price Asuna has to pay. Setsuna then admits that Asuna is her best friend. Alberio tells her that Asuna will not graduate with her, and she will most likely never see her again. Asuna will sleep in the Gravekeeper's palace for 100 years. And Asuna Kagurazaka is an alter ego of Princess Asuna. The Asuna Kagurazaka won't last 100 years. It will erode into nothing, that alter ego. Negi sneezes and gets Evangeline and Asuna naked. Setsuna jumps down and slaps Asuna in the face. She starts crying and suggests running away together along with Negi and Kanoka. Asuna tells her that disappearing isn't a part of her plan and that she'll see her again. She tells her that even if she does sleep for 100 years, when she wakes up, Negi and Ava-chan will be there. Evangeline tells her not to expect a visit from her. Later, like the next day, an announcement comes saying that the athletic meet is in 2 days. Alone on top of some steps in like a plaza, Yue admits her love to Negi-sensei while Kotaro, some of Yue's classmates, watch in secret. Yue tells Negi that if she could get a word in response to this after graduation, that would be enough. She then regains all of her memories and starts to cry, thinking of how Nodoka also loves Negi. All the girls get mad at Negi for making Yue cry. Nodoka consoles Yue, and she realizes that she regained her memories. In a hallway into school, Yue apologizes to Negi for putting them through all that. In class, without Negi there, Asakura explains that Negi has all these female students in love with him. He's stolen the lips of many of them. He's had girls confess their love for him, but he's just clueless and only has eyes for his father. Yuna figures that Negi is an enemy to womankind. Kakizaki overhears the conversation and wants Yuna to spell about Negi stealing girls' lips. She tells her about the Pacto cards. She then tells everyone who has a Pacto card to raise their hands, or Kakizaki tells everyone who has a Pacto card to raise their hands. She's then told that Asuna and Ayaka has one too, which makes it 18. It's actually 19 because they didn't include Zaize as well. It's also explained to her that Mana, Natsume, and Misora did not get theirs from Negi, and that Setsuna has two. The class then has a meeting about how Negi is a jerk and an evil man. They decide that Negi needs to be taught a lesson. Asakura suggests the last day of the athletic meet. So, then we see some stuff, Negi meets up with Asuna. You see Asuna running a race that Misora's in, and Asuna ends up winning. Then the athletic meet begins and the class participates in it. Negi asks Ayaka what the all-school event is, and as her family is sponsoring it. Ayaka apologizes and says that they said it was for his own good. Takane then challenges Negi, and Negi defeats her easily. Two random girls try to give Negi love letters, but Negi rejects them. Akira runs up to Negi and tells him that he's not safe here. She then disappears. Fate shows up and tells him that he's going to enjoy Negi running around like a chicken with its head cut off. An explosion appears and Negi jumps out of the way holding Ayaka. Turns out that a tank shot at him, and some military and survival game clubs try to make Negi surrender. Ayaka tells him that this is all part of this year's all-school event. So a giant hologram of Asakura and Sayo appear, saying that the athletic meets all-school event. Assault on teachers. Super scavenger hunt has begun. Students are required to borrow things from their teachers that each teacher will find nigh impossible to lend out. The bonus target is Negi-sensei, and the group who successfully borrows the required items from Negi will have their points multiplied 100 times. Negi flies away on his wand. He then gets shot by bullets from Yuna, and Negi's magic gets drained. At the end of the volume, Haruna, Yuna, Asakura, and Maki are shown with their artifacts along with Kakizaki, who comments on how they seem strangely good at this stuff. Could be Sakurako, I'm not too sure actually. Okay, thoughts on volume 37. So, Fate is the new substitute teacher of Class 3A. It seems that one of the girls is interested in him as an adult. Seems like Sakurako doesn't like him. Fate also seemed to have taken a liking to Negi, despite saying that they would never be friends. He's also very different from Negi. They treat Negi like a cute little kid, but Fate is more of the serious type of teacher. It's also a surprise that Negi is immortal and that he actually died I guess it will help his mission though, and that he'll have a lot of work to do with the terraforming and whatnot. With Project Blue Mars, he's going around the worlds and whatnot. I guess the immortality's helping him out in a sense. Um, find out Asuna's not graduating with the class. That was pretty sad. Setsuna's reaction to this news was also really sad as well. It's really nice that Setsuna acknowledged Asuna as being her best friend. Negi and Asuna versus Evangeline was pretty cool. Negi is definitely on par with Evangeline now, but adding Asuna to the mix just kind of made like Asuna and Negi versus like anyone makes the two like unstoppable. uh, but it looks like the volumes are gonna end, or the whole series is gonna end with the girls of Class 3A versus Negi Sensei. The strongest adversaries of Negi would be the students of its class, and they actually have something of a point, as Negi can be something of this like womanizer type guy. I mean, like, look at what he did with Akko. He just totally flirted with her. Um, just kissing girls, seeing them naked at times. Um, forcing them to do things that they didn't really want to do, forcing them into his like adventures. All these girls love him, and he's just like, "Oh, do I need for my dad?" So yeah, they kind of have a point. We finally got to talk about Blue Mars, extremely ambitious project, terraforming Mars to make it livable and to keep the magical world alive. Nagi has a lot of work to do here, and it looks like classmates like Ayaka and the effort of others will be necessary for this to happen. Ayaka making a pact with Negi was pretty comical, actually. Her artifact though is pretty fitting. She's not really a fighter. Um, this is more her speed as far as like an artifact goes. And finally, we got to see Yue confessing her love to Negi Sensei. Kind of long overdue. Yue is another character that has shown major character development. Excuse me. As a Baka Ranger to pretty much a star student in Ariadne in the magical world. Her fighting ability just went from nothing. I mean, she was just another student with no fighting ability to somewhat formidable now. Okay, on to the last volume, volume 38. I'll tell you guys right now, this is going to be pretty long. So, the volume begins with Negi's magic being temporarily neutralized by Yuna's bullets. Everyone chases Negi, and he runs away, but has difficulty without the use of magic. Kotaro, Takamichi, and Professor Akashi try to help him out, but they suddenly disappear. Sakurako, Kugamiya, and Kakizaki find Negi. Kakizaki asks Negi who he is in love with. Negi admits that there is a girl that he finds as a favorite. They also seemingly have wanted Pactio cards, but they then support Negi and his love and just let him go. He asks if they want Pactio cards, but they don't seem to want them. Negi then runs into Kufei, who has a note that says husband. So, thing is, this scavenger hunt, like, these people have this note that they have to ask their teacher for this item. Whatever is on the note, or this command. So, Kufei has husband. So, she attacks Negi, but Negi still counters and throws her despite not being able to use magic. Kufei admits to being confused about her feelings for Negi and lets him go. Chisame appears with a note that says, "Give Negi Sensei a punch in the face." Chisame tries to punch him, but Chechimaru gets between them and stops the punch. She also shows her note, which says, "Safety first." Chechimaru tells Chisame that she should tell Negi how she feels about him. After some shenanigans, Chechimaru's artifact accidentally gets triggered, and a beam shoots down at them from the satellite. Chechimaru changed it to the stripper beam before it fired. Asuna then rescues Negi in the meantime. Girls of Class 3A spy on them, on Asuna and Negi. Spy Golem tells the girls that Negi has someone that he loves. The girls use their artifacts against Asuna and Negi, but Asuna nullifies everything. Haruna says that they just have to get out our own little devil girl and the Empress. Zaize, dressed in her combat outfit, comes from the ground. She tells Negi to get serious and reveals that her power is equal to that of Poyo One-sama. Zaize attacks Negi and he gets into his lightning form. Takamichi appears behind Asuna and tells her that she shouldn't interfere. The twins set up a rope snare and it ties around Asuna's leg, causing her to hang from a flagpole. It's revealed that Takamichi was just a golem made by Haruna. Ako, with the help of Natsumi using her artifact, gets beyond Negi and stabs him with her syringe artifact. Negi then gets disoriented. Chizuru uses her artifact, which is a large leak that she calls a wand. If it stabs someone, the person getting stabbed has to do whatever she says. She then sticks the leak up his butt and lifts him up. Chizuru asks Negi who he likes, but he resists. She asks 3 more times. It's actually Zaize who's telling, who keeps kind of egging on Chizuru to keep asking him. Before he can admit the truth, Yue and Nodoka use their artifacts and skills to save him. They meet up with Akira in an alley, and she removes the leak. Yue, flying on a broom with Nodoka, fly away to act as decoys. Chamo appears and tells Akira that she has to make a pact with Negi. They kiss and make a pactio. Spy Golem comes by and spies on them. Akira says Adit, and she becomes a semi-armored mermaid. Her artifact allows her to warp from one body of water to another. They then jump into a puddle. They keep getting chased and keep warping to different areas. Haruna makes calls to Chachimaru and Sakurako. She then suggests getting Evangeline to help. Chachimaru makes schematics of every water service in the school. Haruna then calls Sakurako to use her incredible luck. Akira and Negi end up at a body of water, and Evangeline is there waiting for them. She freezes the water and wants to know who he is interested in. Akira breaks the ice, and Yue and Nodoka get in front of them to defend Negi. Haruna, Maki, and Yina join up with Evangeline, so they're kind of the two groups are facing off. Evangeline incants a spell, burst freezing breath. And then, so she launches it at them, and Zaize appears and blocks the attack. Satsuki and Kufe are with her. Satsuki then lectures Evangeline. She then suggests Evangeline may be the one that Negi cares for. Evangeline scoffs at the idea, but the other girls think that the odds are very high. Asuna appears holding Hakase, who has Chao Lingshan's family history book. Hakase reveals that it's just a blank page and that the future has changed. All the girls side with Negi and chase after Haruna and Yuna, as those are the two perpetrators for this whole scheme. So, alone on a hill close to the World Tree that has those pillars, same place that Chao Lingshan went back to her home, or teleported to her home. Yue asks Negi if he's going to set out on a 100-year journey to save the world. She then tells him that she's going to study really hard and wants to be hired to work on his project. Many of the girls come to the hill. It's the ones that knew that Negi was a wizard, and or some of his the class that went on the adventure with him. It's mainly those people. They come up on the hill. So you see Evangeline, Mana, Hakase, Chisame, Misora, Asuna, Kanoka, and Setsuna standing atop of the pillars. The other girls horse around with Negi, but he distinctly looks at one of the girls in the pillars. So, 5 months later, 1 week before graduation, Negi, Asuna, and Takamichi are in a classroom. Negi presents Asuna with her diploma. Takamichi is regretful that she has to carry pretty much the weight of the magical world on her shoulders. He then congratulates her on graduating. Ayaka barges into the classroom and tells Asuna to come with her. Outside under a tree, Ayaka hands her a shovel and they start digging. They unearth a time capsule that they made full of pictures of the two and other items. Ayaka tells Asuna to take it with her and to think of it as her. They then hug. Asuna tells her that meeting her was the luckiest thing that happened to her. She then says, "You were my best friend, class rep." The next day, Asuna sees Negi sitting on a hill. He shows her the class roster, which he has been writing in. Certain things like the Valentine incident, Christmas incident, grandfather incident, Parasama incident, other things have been added to the notes in the class roster. With Zaize's picture, it says that the demon world is on Venus. So, yeah, it's been updated quite a bit. They talk, and Asuna kisses Negi, telling him that it's a goodbye kiss from his big sister. She then tells him to do his best. On top of a building with a magical circle, Negi, Kanoka, Setsuna, Ayaka, Evangeline, Chachimaru, Takamichi, Alberio, the headmaster, and Chamo see Asuna off. Theodora go down Rakon are there to escort her to the magical world. Asuna tells Kanoka that they'll see each other again. Asuna then transports to the magical world with Negi, Kanoka, Ayaka, and Setsuna crying as they see her off. So, we're on a beach. We see Asuna Kagurazaka, or that alter ego, and the Imperial Princess of Twilight. The Imperial Princess of Twilight tells Asuna about a promise, and that's why she held on for so long. Asuna then reappears in the future on top of a building, and everything is much more advanced. She sees the elevator that goes into space. I'll tell you guys right now that elevator, like the space elevator, is a big thing in UQ Holder. It's revealed on a news report that it's March 26, 2135. Asuna looks for Negi, but can't find him. She visits Evangeline's cabin, and it's completely run down. She reads something about Negi, and it turns out that his whereabouts are unknown. She tries to see one of Ayaka's descendants, but she is denied entry to his residence. So a girl that looks like a young Ayaka asks Asuna if she's looking for Negi-san. She then takes Asuna to Negi's grave. It's revealed that he died on June 12, 2065. The girl then tells Asuna that her grandmother had someone very special to her. She lived a long time so that she can see that person. Her grandmother passed away when she was 115 years old. The girl then leaves. Asuna digs up the time capsule and finds new pictures in it along with the old ones. One picture shows Kanoka and Setsuna passing their Magister Magi exams. There's a picture with Anya all grown up with Stan, who is now back to normal, not stoned anymore, and Negi's sister. She then sees a picture with an adult-looking Negi, Ayaka, and Chachimaru. There's then a recording from Negi in the year 2023 to Asuna. He talks about the elevator and terraforming. Turns out that he's starting to become that worry wart again. At the end of the recording, Negi says that he misses her and he really wishes he could see her. She then hears a recording from Ayaka in the year 2090. She tells her that the one thing keeping her alive is the thought of seeing her shocked face. Asuna reveals that she was supposed to wake up in the year 2104. Ayaka tells Asuna that she wishes that she could see her one last time on the land that her and Negi-sensei created. Asuna starts crying, and it's just an absolute, she's a mess now. She's, in total regret of everything that happened. Wishes she never, woke up and stuff like that. Suddenly, Evangeline and Xiao Lingshan appear. Evangeline tells her that they didn't think she'd sleep an extra 30 years. Xiao thanks her for her 100 years of service and tells her that she did wonderfully. So at the time right after Asuna left Mahora, Asuna reappears with the other Evangeline and Xiao Lingshan. They then go to the graduation ceremony. Chao reveals that she brought her time machine, Cassiopeia, and a dimension jumper, which allows her to travel between parallel worlds. Chao then says she'll return home. The other Evangeline will travel to a dimension to find an extra Nagi. Asuna asks the other Evangeline how Negi died when he's like her. Evangeline tells her that he had no regrets except about her. Evangeline tells Negi that in the future everyone called him Magister Magi or Master Mage. Asuna then graduates with her class. Afterwards, Negi and the class are on a cherry blossom viewing. They say flower viewing in the manga, but I'm pretty sure it's a cherry blossom viewing. Asuna asks Negi who is the girl that he likes, and he whispers it to her. The girls start to crowd him, and he sneezes, causing them all to get naked. Some use Adit to get their clothes back. It's revealed that the twins, Fuka and Fumika, and Sakurako also use Adit. So when Fuka and Fumika used it, they had these ninja outfits, and when Sakurako used Adit, she had a cheerleading outfit. They all then attack Negi. So we go to like this one page. It says, and so we come to one possible ending. That world is most likely the happiest. So it's pretty much the happy end. So in the next chapter, at St. Ursula Girls High School, 7 years later, we're introduced to a girl named Makoto and a boy named Sasaki who is holding a bat. Makoto reveals that dozens of girls have been attacked at her school alone, that all they do is take the girls' underwear. Sasaki reveals that his sister was attacked by a vampire here. A monster appears and it takes Sasaki's pants and Makoto's panties. It's revealed that that 2 years before the existence of magic and the magical world was to be revealed to the public, there was an increase of illegal border crossing by outlaws, magical beasts, and monsters from the magical world to Earth. Meanwhile, a group of girls worked in secret to protect the innocent citizenry. They're known as the Ministra Negi. Makoto goes to class and they talk about how she was groped. After class, Sasaki tells Makoto to come with him. He takes her to Detective Yue's office. Sasaki says that she's a friend of her sister's, and she's been working as a detective ever since she got back from studying abroad. They come into her office and see an older Yue asleep on her desk. Yue asks if he's Sasaki-san. He reveals that he is Makie's brother, Kagehisa. Yue says that she guesses she has to help and concocts tea that she serves to them. After explaining the situation, she then agrees to take the case. Yue explains that she's trying to land a job with the ISSDA, International Solar System Development Association. They take her to the crime scene. She finds out that it's the work of a fauna master who may be a demon. The next day, they gather information. Yue says that she'll have this solved by dinner time tomorrow. Kagehisa notices that Yue is a Slav and sees a pile of mail. One piece of mail has something to do with the next day, tomorrow in that world. They see pictures on the wall from Yue in high school with her with Nodoka, with Negi Sensei and whatnot. They then go to a plaza and Yue says that she cleared the place of any people. Yue then drinks a very large vial of a concoction of a variety of spells. She then reveals that her character quirk is that she gets stronger the more that she drinks. The weakness is that she has to finish things before she has to go to the bathroom. Makoto whispers to Yue that the victimizer aggressively fondles victim's chest. Yue tells the villain to show himself or herself. She then says that you can't escape my barrier. Yue says that. The villain reveals herself, and it turns out to be Pal Z, along with some other monsters. And Pal Z is wearing that, like, armor. Yue fights against the enemies, and then summons Dragon Tooth Warriors to protect Kagehisa and Makoto. She fights against Pal Z. Pal Z gets out of her armor as Yue attacks the armor. So it's kind of a decoy. Pal Z then uses a barehanded disarmament techniques stronger than magic to strip Yue naked. She reveals that she learned the technique from the legendary mercenary of the Thousand Blades. Palzi then aggressively fondles Yue with her many arms. I think she has 4 arms. Yue is worried that she's about to leak out. A bolt of lightning then strikes Palzi, and it came from Negi, who Yue calls Shisho, which in Japanese means like master, calls me teacher. Negi recognizes Palzi and she gets arrested. The clearance spell wears off. Yue asks why he's there, and Negi tells her today is the Ala Alba reunion. Kagehisa shows her the postcard. Chachamaru, Kufei, Make, Yuna, Chisame, Kanoka, Setsa, Haruna, and Nadoka show up. Negi tells them that they have a special guest today and go to a balcony. Like this. So we're shown Aishun, Rakan, Alberio, and Evangeline sitting on a couch with Nagi, Negi's father. Negi reveals that he wants to introduce everyone to his father. Rakan, Aishun, and Evangeline apparently saw Yue's fight against Palzi. Evangeline comments that she fights just like Boya, or Negi. Yuna shows Negi a picture of Fuka's child and Fumika's child. So they both have one kid. Alberio reveals that Negi and his 31 partners defeated the mage of the beginning and freed Nagi. Negi tells his father that not all of Ala Alba is here. Nagi says that he would like to meet all of them. We are then shown what happened to all the students. Asakura became a freelance journalist and wrote a best-selling book. Sayo was freed from her ties from Mahora Academy and became Asakura's accomplice. Yuna became a secret agent for Megalomacembria. Nadoka works in the ISSDA Technology Development Department. She still treasure hunts and helps Yue with her detective work. Yue works in an ISSDA office in the same department as Nadoka. She continues to be a detective. Haruna is a best-selling author based in Megalomacembria. Setsuna became a famous pilot in the early space age and married in 2017. Kanoko was stalked by Tsukiyomi. In 2017, she cured the villagers of Negi's village and then got married. Kufei opened a dojo in Mahora. She has a New Year's duel with Negi every year. Kaede became a space ninja and can traverse space with no equipment. Makie became a physical education teacher at Mahora Junior High. Akira became one of the space elevator's first cabin attendants. Ako got her scars healed. She works as a nurse with the same company that Akira works for. She secretly studies under tutelage of Kanoko Kanoe. Fuka and Fumika married princes from a magical kingdom and both have one child. Satsuki studied in France and China. She opened a branch of Xiaobaozi in orbit, and Xiaobaozi became the first interplanetary restaurant in history. Misora reluctantly joined Yue in protecting Mahora Academy. She's still friends with Kokone. Chisame became a shut-in and internet junkie. She is also a special advisor to the ISSDA. Hakase is rumored to have married a certain Governor General. I wonder who that is. Her theories helped the terraforming of planet Mars and making the orbital elevator. Chachamaru worked many years as Negi's personal assistant. Mana continued to fight through countless battlefields. She participated in the Mars War of Independence. The war was the cause of Asuna's delayed awakening. Evangeline's curse was lifted when her beloved was rescued. She continues to look after the girls. As for how things turned out with her and her beloved, that is another story. Just to tell you, in Yuki Holder, Evangeline plays a major role in Yuki Holder and may arguably be like her story. So, next we have Zaize. She is an observer. It will be quite some time before she comes to them. to everyone as an ambassador of friendship. Kakizaki works as a concierge at a station hotel. Kugumiya became a government official working in elevator customs. Sakurako works at a brokerage firm. Chizuru acts in conjunction with Ayaka and others as a representative of Naba Industries. She became a preschool teacher. Natsumi married Kotaro in 2015. Ayaka represents the Yukihiro conglomerate. She devotes her time to Blue Mars. Asuna stays busy with her efforts to restore the kingdom. She's still friends with Ayaka. Chao continues to fight for lasting peace in her own world. She still comes to Mahara to visit her friends. So, we're shown back to Negi and his father. So the story continues. And pretty much all the girls that are there call all the girls that aren't at the reunion. So at the end of the volume, we are shown a page that says, "True magic results from courage of the heart. Boys and girls, be ambitious. One step can change the world." All the artifacts and a few important items are shown laying on the ground on a pile of leaves. So, here's some thoughts on the final volume, volume 38. So, from what I've read, Ken Akamatsu, creator of Negima and Love Hina, did not want Negima to end this way and had to apparently rush the ending. It was some sort of political thing. It really showed, too. They never really showed how he got his father back. They hinted at certain events in the updated class roster. I've also heard that they're supposed to have a lot more to do with Zaize during the Mahora Fest. I guess they're supposed to have something with Zaize and the Nightmare Circus that never came about because, like, the Mahora Fest, the Mahora Budokai, and the stuff with Chao Lingshan took so much time that he just could not fit it in there. Speaking of Zaize, I had to say right now, I think that she is one of the most underutilized characters of the series. I mean, she's obviously hugely powerful. She's able to block Evangeline's ice spells. They wait pretty much until the very last volume to really utilize her, and not Poyo, because Poyo was there, even Poyo comes really late in the series. And, she comes through the ground in her, pretty much like her last boss form, And it's like, man, it's like, she just seems so underutilized. She's such a mysterious character and whatnot. And, she just wasn't used. Or at least have her fight with, like, a la Rubra or something. It'd be kind of cool to just see her, like, there more in action. The overall ending, I thought it was alright. It ended as best as it could, but the fact of the matter is, this isn't the ending per se, because UQ Holder will indeed pick up, not exactly where Negima left off, but like 70 years later. But the events of Negima are very important, are very important to what happened in Yuki Holder, especially like having the space elevator there and whatnot. And a lot of stuff with Evangeline's backstory is also important to Yuki Holder that you've seen here that actually is shown in Yuki Holder. Lots of unanswered questions though. Who is Zect? He was one of Ala Rubra. He was one of Nagi's, he's someone that Nagi called Master. He looked like the mage of the beginning. Who is this guy? Where did they find him? What's his story? Is Negi really immortal? They asked the question. They did not answer it, though. Who does Negi like? They asked the question. They never truly answer it. How did Nagi become the mage of the beginning? Like, where did that come about? That's one of the big twists. and you would have thought more would have been done with that, but it seems like there just wasn't enough time. Like, it really seems a bit incomplete in that sense, uh, and goes with the idea that Akamatsu really had to rush an ending. The other thing is that various characters can probably have their own spin-off series. Evangeline pretty much has her own spin-off with UQ Holder, and the events of UQ Holder actually are highly relevant to or the events of Negima will actually play a very big role in UQ Holder in the future. And then obviously you have Yue, who is like a detective. She can probably have her own series. Nodoka maybe, Ku, Kaede, Setsuna, whoever. It's nice also seeing what happened to all of Class 3A. Definitely got some level of resolution with each character, especially like with Natsume, for example, marrying Kotaro. And finally, Asuna leaving and coming back was pretty much one of the saddest moments in Negima. From being asleep for so long, that Ayaka, who lived as long as she did, just to see her but was unable to just being utterly alone in this new world and time was really sad. It was great when Evangeline showed up, especially with Chao Lingshen, which was just a very pleasant surprise. And yeah, it's just cool that that happened. So that's all for today. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment to this channel if you're on YouTube, or follow, share, and comment on this channel if you're listening to this on SoundCloud. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Stitcher, please rate, review, and share this channel. Thank you for listening to these manga reviews. Next week I will review UQ Holder volumes 1 through 3, and also read pages 11 to 16 of my short story, The Orthodox Clash. Thank you, and until next time.